Capitalism is a word that can stir up many emotions. For some, it's the key to success, and for others, it's exploitative and unjust. In this video, we are going to show you both sides of capitalism so that you can form your own opinion on how we should view this system. What exactly are the pros and cons of capitalism? This is Capitalist Domain, and we are going to give you an unbiased perspective on what all comes with living in a capitalist society. We're talking about everything from economics to politics, economic inequality, and socialism versus capitalism. Most people view capitalism as an economic system, but it's much more than that. It shapes our entire way of life. So take some time out of your day and listen to our thoughts on something as polarized as our world today. We'll be sure to give you both the advantages and disadvantages of capitalism. What exactly is capitalism and who created it? Capitalism is an economic system in which private individuals or businesses own the means of production and operate for profit. This includes factories, land, businesses, and other assets. The key characteristic of capitalism is that it relies on private ownership and investment in order to create goods and services. What you should understand about this system is that there is no one person or event that can be credited with its creation. Rather, it is a system that has evolved over time. The first major capitalist economy is generally thought to have been that of 16th century England. The English Civil War from 1642 to 1651 resulted in the victory of bourgeois class over the feudal aristocracy and ushered an era of private ownership of land and businesses. The Industrial Revolution, which began in England in the late 1700s, further fueled the growth of capitalism. This period saw a dramatic increase in output thanks to new technologies and the introduction of mass production. As capitalism spread around the world, different countries adapted it to their own needs and circumstances. In the United States, for example, the federal government played a more active role in the economy than it did in England. While in China, the Communist Party remains firmly in control despite adopting some capitalist policies. Today, capitalism is the dominant economic system in the world, though there are still many countries that have socialist or communist economies. Socialism is an economic system in which the means of production are owned by the government and operated for the benefit of all citizens. Communism is a very similar system, but with the added goal of eliminating social class altogether. How does this economic system work? In a capitalist economy, the government doesn't control what businesses can produce or how much they can charge for their products. Instead, businesses are free to produce whatever they think will be profitable, and consumers are free to buy whatever they want. This freedom creates competition between businesses, which helps keep the prices low and quality high. It also gives businesses an incentive to innovate and come up with new products and services that people want to buy. In capitalist economies, most businesses are small and privately owned. This is because it's easier for individuals to start their own business than it is for the government to do so. However, there are also large corporations in capitalist economies. These are businesses that have grown so big and successful that they can avoid competition by buying up smaller businesses or deterring new ones from entering the market. There are many different types of capitalism, but they all share some basic features. The most important characteristic of capitalism is that it rewards those who are able to create value for others. This can be done by starting a successful business, inventing a new product, or investing in a company that goes on to be profitable. Those who are good at creating value for others tend to become very wealthy in capitalist economies. This is because they are able to earn more money than those who don't create as much value. This often leads to economic inequality, as the rich get richer while the poor stay poor. Pros of capitalism. Now that we have a basic understanding of capitalism, let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of this economic system. We'll start with the positives. The first pro is that capitalism encourages innovation. Businesses are always looking for ways to improve their products and services and come up with new ideas. This drives economic growth and makes everyone better off. Free market competition can also lead to lower prices for consumers. Another pro is that capitalism gives people the freedom to make their own choices about what to buy and sell and how to run their businesses. This is different from the socialist economies, where the government decides what businesses can produce and how much they can charge for their products. In capitalist economies, businesses are free to produce whatever they think will be profitable, and this can lead to more innovation and better products for consumers. For example, in the early days of the automobile industry, there were many different companies making all sorts of different cars. But as the industry matured, some companies failed while others succeeded. And eventually, we ended up with just a few big companies making very similar products. Furthermore, capitalism also encourages entrepreneurialism, which can create jobs and wealth. Entrepreneurialism is often associated with creativity, risk-taking, and innovation. All of these things can lead to economic growth. In modern capitalism, businesses are also able to respond quickly to changes in consumer demand. This helps to ensure that economies can remain stable and grow. It's important to note, however, that flexibility can also lead to instability, as we'll discuss in the next part of this video. Under capitalism, people are rewarded for their work according to their skills, abilities, and efforts. This encourages them to work harder and be more productive, which in turn benefits society as a whole. Aside from spurring a strong work ethic, it also provides incentive for innovation and success. A classic example of this is the story of Henry Ford, who invented the assembly line and revolutionized the automotive industry. Ford's story is a good reminder that anyone can become successful in a capitalist economy regardless of their social or economic background. He was born into a poor family and had little formal education, but he was able to create one of the most successful businesses in the history. Cons of capitalism. Now, let's take a look at some of the downsides of capitalism. Of course, there are also some drawbacks to this kind of economic system. One of the most common criticisms is that the free market can lead to monopolies or oligopolies, which can limit choice and stifle competition. While it's true that some industries do tend to become dominated by a few big companies, it's important to remember that this is not always the case. In many industries, there are still plenty of small businesses competing against each other. And even in industries where there are just a few big companies, they still have to compete against each other to win customers. Furthermore, capitalism can lead to economic inequality as the rich get richer while the poor stay poor. This is because businesses tend to make more money when they are run by wealthy people. The gap between the rich and the poor can also be exacerbated by tax policies and government regulations that favor the wealthy. This inequality can result in social unrest and can even lead to revolutions. In Russia, the Bolshevik Revolution occurred partially because of the vast economic inequality that existed under the Tsarist regime. The rich were getting richer, while the poor were getting poorer, and this ultimately led to the overthrow of the government. In capitalist economies, businesses are also motivated by profit, which can lead to them cutting corners or compromising in quality. For instance, if a company is selling a product that is potentially harmful to consumers, they may not warn customers about the risks because it would cost them money. This happened with cigarettes in the United States for many years. Cigarette companies knew that their products were addictive and dangerous, but they didn't warn customers because it would have hurt their profits. The profit motive can also lead to unethical or illegal behavior, such as price gouging, fraud, and insider trading. While these activities are technically illegal, they can still happen in a capitalist economy. In addition, capitalism is often criticized for its environmental impact. Because businesses are focused on making money, they may be less likely to invest in sustainable practices or to clean up pollution. This can lead to serious environmental problems such as climate change. For example, they may choose to produce harmful chemicals or pollutants as long as it's profitable. Finally, capitalism is also associated with financial instability. In a free market economy, businesses are constantly trying to maximize their profits by cutting costs and increasing efficiency. This can lead to a lot of instability as businesses may be forced to lay off workers or even go bankrupt. Globalization and free trade can also lead to the outsourcing of jobs and a race to the bottom in wages. Capitalism is a complex economic system with both benefits and drawbacks. In this video, we've looked at the history of capitalism, its benefits and shortcomings, and how it has evolved over time. There's no doubt that capitalism is flawed, but it is also resilient. It has survived for centuries in spite of challenges because it possesses certain qualities that are appealing to people. These include freedom, opportunity, and innovation. However, as we have seen, there are also many problems with capitalism. Some economists believe that these problems are inherent in the system and cannot be fixed. Others think that they can be corrected through government intervention or by changing the way businesses operate. No matter what your opinion is, it's important to understand how capitalism works and its impact on society. That way, you can make informed decisions about the economic system that we live under. So what do you think? Is capitalism good or bad for society? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more contents like this. And while you're at it, why not check out some of our other videos on different financial topics? Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. See you next time!